Wisconsin at Michigan State. Well, like we said, two teams that kind of fell apart early and often. Wisconsin last season was 6-3 in the Big Ten and 9-4 overall. They are currently 1-2 in the Big Ten and 3-3 overall. The Athlon prediction is that they would go 6-3 in the Big Ten and 9-4 overall. In order to do that, they've got to win all of the rest of their games, which I don't think they're going to do. Although I do have them picked to finish strong here and finish out. I think they can beat Michigan State, Purdue, Maryland, Iowa, and Nebraska, but I think they'll lose to Minnesota. I'm not counting Minnesota out. I don't think they're done. And the reason, like I said, the reason I give Wisconsin this possibility of winning all of these games is, like we said, Wisconsin doesn't give up. I mean, I think if Christ was still there, I would change that and say they might not win half of those games. But now that Leonard has taken over and proven that Christ was the problem, it looks like, I think they've got a real chance because they are, like we said, perennially strong team. And it's not like the players are all of a sudden going to be weak just because Christ was having a bad season. So if Leonard is for real and Northwestern last week wasn't a fluke, I think they can catch up and at least make the Athlon prediction. I would have them finishing 6-3 in the Big Ten and 8-4, giving them a bowl game. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, so a couple of points there. Like, you're right, Wisconsin doesn't give up. And I think it's very important to remember that no matter what happened with Paul Chryst being there and whatever was going on, I mean, maybe he was being too conservative, maybe player development wasn't quite where it should be. Wisconsin has some really great talent on that team. So you got to think, like, was the scheming a little off? Was something, probably something like that. It would have been an issue with how he was calling the game or managing the game. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Moving forward, Wisconsin still has a chance to make something of their season here. The reason, though, I think that they're actually going to finish 6-6 is because they have yet to play Purdue, Maryland, Iowa, and Minnesota. Those games to me are toss-ups. Purdue has the high-powered offense. Wisconsin is struggling on defense. Purdue is also turnover prone, though, so that might work in Wisconsin's favor. Maryland, on the other hand, also has a solid offense, but they have a slightly better defense than their record, I think, suggests right now. The reason that's key is because it's going to take Graham Mertz having a solid game to beat them, because Maryland, alternatively, can also score.
Right.
Iowa is sort of an up and down thing right now, but so is Wisconsin. The game there is at Iowa, so there's reason to believe Wisconsin will be uncomfortable, to say the least. And then Minnesota at the end of the season, their game against Purdue notwithstanding, the Gophers are very much still looking for a Big Ten title game berth. So unless their season just implodes, then I think Wisconsin's going to have their hands full with another really good offense.
Yeah, so you said you've got them at 6-6?
6-6, 4-5 in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, historically, that's not a great season for Wisconsin.
No, that's very bad.
Yeah. On the other side of the ball, there is Michigan State. Last year they went 7-2 and overall 11-2, and that's why Mel Tucker, I almost said Tucker Carlson.
Whoops.
He's not coaching.
We're not political.
So Mel Tucker, that's the reason Mel Tucker got his $95 million contract for 10 years. Currently, they are sitting at 0-3 in the Big Ten, 2-4 overall. I did some bad math here, but I've got them winning one more game. I think they'll beat Rutgers. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm reading the wrong line. And the Athlon prediction was that they would go 6-3 in the Big Ten and 9-3 overall. There's no way.
No.
They're never getting there. Not with the way they're playing. I've got them winning one more game, and that's Rutgers. Mel Tucker was supposed to be Michigan State's Ryan Day. After last year, he was supposed to just come in and destroy the Big Ten. He's turned out to be more of a Brady Hoke. He's had a strong start, and now he's started his decline. I don't think they're going to come anywhere near the Athlon prediction. I've got them ending up at 1-8 in the Big Ten, 3-9 on the season. So no bowl game, no shot at the championship, probably no shot at being ranked. And I think at the end of this season, they're going to be renegotiating Mel Tucker's contract. This season has been that bad, I think.
Can you renegotiate a contract?
Oh, sure.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They might have to throw some buyout money at him, but they can still renegotiate.
Huh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what happened with that. Because I'm a little bit like, I think that they'll actually win one more game than you do.
Mhm.
So I've got them beating Indiana, but mostly because that game is late in the season and Indiana's probably going to be pretty beat up by then.
Yeah, that's possible.
And it's in East Lansing, so there's that. Yeah, I mean, Michigan State is a surprise to be sure. You know, there's a scenario in which Michigan State doesn't win another game. I mean, Rutgers and Indiana aren't great, but they're spirited.
Right.
You know, those games are both in East Lansing, so maybe. The problem is, though, is we could see two very different Michigan State teams come that stretch of games. So a couple of different scenarios play out here. Like either Michigan State loses to Wisconsin this weekend, then they lose to Michigan, and then they lose to Illinois, which means by the time they play Rutgers and Indiana, a bowl game is out of the question. At that point, they're playing for pride only. If they're motivated enough, then maybe they beat Rutgers and Indiana. But if they're defeated and they're sad, I guess they could just not care, you know.
Right.
I mean, 2019 was kind of like that. I don't think they got a bowl game in 2019 either. And by the time they played Michigan, which I think was late November, I mean, Michigan destroyed them and MSU just looked sad after that first drive. So there's that scenario. But on the other hand, if they find a way to upset Wisconsin and Illinois, which is kind of hilarious, then suddenly a bowl game is back on the table, and the Rutgers and Indiana games are their two last chances to get eligible. So it's not at all a great look for a team that was expecting to compete for the title this year, but it's the best they're going to get right now. And yeah, I guess if they can renegotiate the contract, they probably will want to.
They might. And they've got some major work to do, because that last press conference, it sounded an awful lot like Mel Tucker was saying the coaches aren't the problem, it's the players.
Yeah,
he didn't say that specifically or literally, but he did say there was no problem in the coaching staff. He wasn't looking to make any changes, which sounds an awful lot like he's blaming the players. You know, and obviously that's not going to go over well.
Yeah, I mean, I understand we're both Michigan fans and people will call us biased. That's fine, but Brady Hoke used to do that too. Brady Hoke used to have that saying, like, I don't know what went wrong. We had a great week of practice. We just didn't execute. Well, who's the one that has to execute? It's the players. Right. So you're throwing the players under the bus when you say something like that. And not even that, like, let's pretend for a second that he's not blaming the players. A month ago, when they lost to Washington, he literally called himself a horse bleep coach. What is he now?
Right.
Like it's
two more losses later.
Yeah, 3, right? All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. Either way, like you should not say things like that during a press conference. He just looks so defeated and confused.
Yeah.
During his conferences. Anyway.
Right. So I've got putting this through the score predictor. The stats for Wisconsin and Michigan State must be pretty tight. I've got Wisconsin 31 and Michigan State 28.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm pretty close on there. I think Wisconsin's going to get a field goal more than that. But I myself have the Angry Skunks 34-24.
Yeah, I think we're with those kind of scores, I think we're looking at a couple of bad defenses
I think so too. Yeah.
with, yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yep. That's going to do it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. I hope you appreciated our ramblings and our opinions there. If you have a different guess on any of these games, a different opinion, please leave it in the comments. We love to hear from you guys. I hope everybody has fun watching football this weekend. Mac, take us out.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell. This is Team Rivalry.